November 19th is International Men's Day. It's a dedicated worldwide celebration aimed at shining a light on the positive contributions men bring to their families and communities alike.
We live in a very interesting world. I think the times that we live in, the world that we live in, it's a bit of posing a bit of a challenge to people. I think a lot of pressure on the man, the woman in the workplace, domestic pressure on people. So we live in such a day and time where it's increasingly difficult to navigate through all the different sources of pressure on people. But it seems that for some reason or the other, the woman has been able to, or women have been able to navigate this a lot better. I guess maybe be due to their uh, the support structures that they have built around themselves, the more effective support structures that they have. But when it comes to the man, just looking at the team for the International Men's Day, um, you know, zero male suicide. One then begins to ask yourself a couple of questions around where's this coming from? How do we go from uh, you know being a happy Nigerian culture where people have a lot of support to a setting where we have 77% of male suicides, in Nigeria. So I guess a couple of thoughts, as we think about this, come to mind. I think that for me, one of them is that we are beginning to see increasing failure of our support structure, particularly the male support structure, where socially we are now finding ourselves in faced with a couple of difficulties. How do we connect with people? How do we share? So a woman goes into a salon to make her hair, and they discuss about things, and then there's a lot of laughter and so on and so forth. She comes out a lot more refreshed. A man goes to cut his hair in a barbing salon, and then barber shop, and then he has all this additional pressure from politics, pressure from sports and so on. And so he comes out of that place maybe a little more depressed than he went in. Uh, but the reality is that there is a failure of the social structure around the man. The second, of course, is a perception of success or the definition of success. What do we define as success? I think that the flawed definition of what it means to be successful is increasingly putting a lot of pressure on men, on the male figure at the moment. So you have people defined as successful because of where they live, the type of houses they have, the type of vehicles they drive, and so on and so forth. So when these things are absent, there is a perception of failure, which may not necessarily be true. It simply may just define a stage in a person's life. Beyond that, we also have, of course, the increasing pressure to perform. We have become, I think Stephen Covey once said that we moved away from character to charisma. And in his book, The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, he talks about how there has been a shift in terms of societal values, where people are becoming a lot more performance oriented. We're becoming performers or actors, as it were. So there's a whole lot of increasing pressure to perform. And so people tend to find that they're not necessarily true to themselves, they're not necessarily real, they are performers. And as the pressure to perform or to reach to a particular standard increases, what then happens is we're beginning to see increased issues around mental health, increased issues around male suicide. Beyond all of this, of course, is the age-old issue of being the alpha male syndrome, where I think, for want of a better way to say it, the old term that men don't cry. And because we've said that men don't cry, or maybe men don't cry publicly, what then happens is that you have to always give the persona of being the alpha male. So you're not necessarily in tune with the fact that you can be weak, you can have challenges, you can have issues, and you may also need help. So once you have that persona, that mindset of the alpha male, the man who is in charge, everything is in control. If you're like myself, who watches a little bit of wrestling every once in a while, then you look at figures like the Rock, Johnson, Dwayne Johnson, the Rock, and then he gives you the impression that you can actually just bulldoze your way through all issues in life and so on. But the reality is that that whole narrative has really changed. The men have a lot more issues to confront today. That just being physically strong is no longer enough. You need to have mental strength, you need to have social strength, and you also need to have physical strength. And the combination of these things, or when one of these things is missing in your life, what happens is that you find yourself in a rather difficult psychological state. Now, of course, there are all the other usual suspects, economic challenges. How do I take care of my home? How do I sustain my job? And so on. There are all the other issues around marital challenges, mental health issues. They exist, and the combination of all these issues has resulted in the need to look at this issue of male suicide as we celebrate International Men's Day. At Oilserv, we are aware that these issues exist. We are aware that the men in the office have to deal with a lot of issues. Some in the workplace, some outside of the workplace, some related to their families, and if you are a Nigerian male person, you then have the extended family concerns that you have to deal with. The combination of workplace issues, family issues, and social economic issues and external relation issues, we understand contribute towards the difficulties that men face in the workplace. But we want our men to be physically and mentally strong. We want our men to be socially connected. We want our men to be replenished. And people don't understand the importance of taking a break, replenishing yourself, reviving yourself in order for you to continue to add value to the workplace. But in also, we want you to be socially connected. We want you to be strong. We want you to be mentally healthy. We want you to be replenished as an individual, not just on a month by month basis, but on a week by week basis, or on a day by day basis. And which is why we are beginning to institute a couple of reforms. Beyond that, we also want men to know that it's okay to need help. It's okay to receive help, and it's okay because the business is doing everything possible to also make sure that you can receive help. So it's okay to need help. It's okay to need someone to talk to when you're going through difficulties. We also want to make sure that beyond the workplace, that you build social structures, amongst your colleagues that can enable you access help when you need them. As a man, we want you to remain hopeful and positive. Hopeful that one day some of the challenges that you have on this phase of life that you're currently experiencing will pass. Hopeful that one day the economy is going to get better. Your personal economy as well as the economy of the nation will get better. We want you to remain positive because your positivity will then go back and affect your home. It will affect your outlook in life. So we want you to stay positive. Beyond being positive is that we want you to remain positive role models to your colleagues, but also role models to your family members, role models to your children, for those who are married and have children, to help them understand that life is not all bleak. There might be certain challenges, but life is not all bleak. And lastly, we also want you to know that there is the place of being happy. There is a happiness that comes from contentment. And contentment has nothing to do with having all that you need in life. Contentment is just having a sense of satisfaction relative to where you are and a clear vision as to where you want to be tomorrow. So as we celebrate International Men's Day, let me just recap by saying this. That Oilserv is here to support you in whatever way we can. Beyond what support that Oilserv can give you, you can draw strength from your colleagues. Beyond all of this, you need to draw strength from looking internally and not measuring your life by the physical things that surround you. The combination of the support that Oilserv gives and the support that your colleagues can give, family can give, and the support that you can draw from your internal wellspring will help us deal with this issue of increasing male suicide. When we work together, Oilserv and yourself, we will be able to achieve our goal, which is zero male suicide. And I guarantee you that as partners on this journey, you will always find help from the business, from your colleagues, and from your family. So happy International Men's Day, everyone. let's spread this campaign, zero male suicide. Spread it across your families, spread to your friends, people who do not work in Oilserv, your neighbors around. Tell them that you can be positive even in a very, very difficult social economic situation.